while worshiping Lucifer, and I'm just like, all right, I guess I might have to step up to the plate and take a swing.
So as long as they just chipped everybody, controlled everybody, and destroyed our economy, if they didn't rape kids, you were cool with it?
You know what? I think the chipping also...
Cool, but now that they're raping kids, I'm in!
Well, it's very Roman, don't you think? I mean, you look at these societies and you're like, how the hell did these guys ever find, pleasure in a young boy's bottom?
Oh, don't even say it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how does it happen?
Insane.
Yeah, and they had like whole groups of them.
I wish we could just call them all up and be like, hey, there's a meeting for you in North Dakota. Just show up in Bismarck and we'll take care of the rest. Oh, really? And then just have every ass kicker in North Dakota just go, hey, bro, what's up? We heard you're pumping kids. And just smash their heads.
Well, that's why I was so into Chris Hansen. When I started watching this To Catch a Predator series, I was just like, this is awesome. And then Chris Hansen had Tom Foley on, and what Tom Foley was, he was basically like the government frontman for the CPS. And then it comes out that he's paging, he's texting and IMing a 16-year-old page, a male page. This guy's supposed to be on the street. Yeah. It's his name's Tom Foley, and he's on the thing. I have the clip. It's going to be in Invisible Empire, but he's sitting there praising Chris Hansen and all that he does, and he's like, we have to go after these monsters. And like 2 months later, I kid you not, it was all he had to resign and all this other stuff. And he was either a senator or a congressman on top of it all.
God,
and then here's the one that you probably don't know about. All right, you know who Barney Frank is because he's all over the TV for the bailout, right? He's the one with the big glasses.
Just kidding, that was a Barney joke. Bad joke. I mean, sometimes, Bermas,
It's sometimes, but not usually. You've been pretty funny. This has been one of the better interviews for sure.
Well, puff. Let's do this.
Anyway, so Barney Frank.
You, Bermas, let's do this.
Barney Frank, are you aware of him? He's I think he's a Democrat out of Massachusetts now. He's constantly talking about the bailout. He's kind of porky. He has glasses.
He's got a big head.
Yes, he has a large
head.
Do you know about what happened to him in the 80s? About the same time as this Franklin cover-up scandal's coming out. He actually, in fact, type it up. You'll be able to pull it up on screen. Barney's skeletons in his closet. It's a Time magazine article. I'm not kidding. Out of his D.C. home, this is back when he was a Republican, because originally he was a Republican, right? He gets outed. His boyfriend is a prostitute who's running an underage male brothel out of their D.C. home. Okay, so they charge the boyfriend, they charge Barney Frank, and then Barney Frank gets up in front of Congress and basically says, look, something happens to me or I go to jail, I'm going to out all of you guys that came to my house. And everything just gets dropped. It's like, here it is. A skeleton in Barney's closet. It's out of Time magazine. And they just kind of gloss over the fact that, some of these boys were underage. And, he was helping his male prostitute boyfriend run this whole operation. So all that happened.
Sick. Honestly, the reality is there's that expression, the cream rises to the top. In politics, it's the crap rises to the top.
Yeah, it's the scum, as Alex puts it.
Really, I ran for student body president at the University of North Dakota, right? And even at that level, people were scumbags. It was like, dude, we're at school, and you're a scumbag already?
And they're like just cutthroat.
It is. This whole thing is totally insane. I can't believe it. I know, but earlier I was talking about the fact that I got wiretapped. I did. I'm actually uploading at the same time on MySpace, my last conspiracy set, because I was like, all my other funny stuff, I forgot about MySpace. I don't hardly go there. I'm normally like on YouTube or whatever. But
yeah, YouTube's usually bigger, but people watch the MySpace.
They do. Good for them. So, and good for us, good for you and I, and good for everybody.
Yes.
Except for, I got wiretapped, and I'm literally first time the call comes in, and I'm looking at the stuff with the kids and the satanic rituals and the covered up caves and stuff like that. And the call comes in, and it's from out of area. And I was on AT&T at the time. Thanks a lot, AT&T, for your wiretapping. I really appreciate that. By the way, AT&T, you can just go yourself. So, and I didn't answer it. It was from out of area. Mm-hmm. And then the second day, at about the same time, it was about an hour and a half of being online and looking at this type of stuff, because they're watching. They don't watch. And like if you don't want to get watched on the internet, don't click from thing to successive thing. Click from thing to like Girls Gone Wild, back to 9/11, back to like a kids comedy or something. You got to jump around. But if you're like making the connection like an intelligent person, the call came in and this lady on the other end, she's like, "Hi, is Sheldon there?" I said, no, he's not. May I take a message? And she said, is this still Sheldon's account? I said, who's calling? She's like, Mesh Fanson. I'm sorry, who's that? Mesh Fanson. I was like, really? Well, who do you work for? Silence. And that's when you talked about earlier that there is good and evil. That was my wake-up call. I'd been woken up previously when I lived in Minot, North Dakota, which is where I'm from, because in the Ultimate Evil book, chapter 13 is called Why Not Minot, and Minot's a little culty. Okay, it's a little culty, which isn't cool. But nobody believes it's culty because there's churches everywhere. But in the police force in different parts there are people that are in the satanic cult. But, you know, just like the New World Order, if that's a microcosm, nobody wants to believe it because we live in this small, cute little town, and so nobody's doing sacrifices, and nobody's hammering kids, and nobody's trying to put, I don't know, bird flu virus in your flu vaccination and whatnot.
Actually, wait, you want to know what you want to hear the latest one? We haven't talked about it yet, but this is a true story.
No, do it.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do it right now. They actually, the CDC is reporting that they found rocket fuel components in baby formula. I'm not kidding you. Listen, it's a headline all over. It was the one non-New World Order headline we were going to talk about tonight. But yeah, they're finding rocket fuel components in baby formula. You know, they're very, here it is right here. The headline is rocket fuel chemical found in baby formula. It's out of Atlanta. It's an AP story. It's the CDC. You know, they're not even trying to hide it. You wonder why we don't want to, you know, eat the food and drink the water while the fluoride, the mercury, and the high fructose corn syrup, and now the rocket fuel. You know,
here's the thing.
Formula.
I can't approach people in the street and tell them about the New World Order because I'm a kook. But on stage, I can, and I can't talk about the fact that there was avian flu put in, and you didn't see it on MSNBC? Well, that's because it wasn't anywhere in the media in the United States. You had to look it up in Canada, okay? And people are going like, you're crazy. But, so I have to mix stupid with truth, just like Glenn Breck or whatever his moron name is, the guy that cried all over, I love America, you're an idiot, moron. Anyways, he mixes like half truth with total crap. So you have to mix funny with the truth. So I do jokes like, you know, the other day I met this girl. She came back from Vegas. She had the avian flu.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I was like, you got the avian flu in Vegas? What happened? She said, oh no, it's not the bird flu. It's the AVN flu, the Adult Video Network flu. So I was like, oh, I should have known it because her cough sounded like this. Ahar! Ahar! Now that is as dumb as it gets. But it brings up this avian flu. Then I can talk about, oh, and by the way, they did mix it with and send it to 18 countries, and a dude who was in the Czech Republic killed a ferret. You should Google it, but it'll just show up in Canada.
Actually, you know what?
Like, what was that last part you said about Canada and ferrets afterwards? But people come up to me after my shows, and they start going, I mean, the thing is that I've found the one unifier in everything. You can't talk about how Asians are bad drivers and have everybody love you because the Asians will be like, dude, you are stupid. But you can talk about how the man is out to hump all of us and have everybody go, dude, you're totally right. I've got cholos with like neck tattoos, like 6'4", going, bro, that stuff you're talking about us and our debt to China, bro, is totally amazing, bro.
Well, we do have to mobilize those people. The more of those people that we have, the better chance we have at, you know, bringing the Constitution and Bill of Rights back into focus, because they are so out of focus right now. And this G20 communique and this New World Order that Gordon Brown is talking about, basically what just happened is that they decided they're all going to collude together. Any third world nations that aren't in on the mix, they're going to hold sanctions against. There's going to be no tax havens, which means if you don't play ball, then they're just going to send NATO forces into your country openly. They won't even do it covertly like they did in South America in the past. And I really do believe, you know, with the birth of this global currency, Obama's real job is to bring in the North American Union. I mean, they are crashing this economy completely out. I mean, when we were telling people this, you know, 2-3 years ago, oh, nothing's going on. Now people are at least admitting, yeah, I just lost my job. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to lose my house. But they're still not figuring out that this was on purpose. You know,
well, it's insanity because if you look at the bailouts of the $12.8 trillion, it's just mind-boggling. And what I tell people on stage is that all that's going to do is create inflation. That's the only thing it's going to do. And you know why I know? Because I was in Beverly Hills recently, and I had a $42 hamburger. $42 bucks.
You're kidding.
And I couldn't taste $42 worth of meat. I could taste like $7 worth of meat. And well, the reason is because it was $7 on the menu, and then Wells Fargo added a $35 insufficient funds charge.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Cost of See, I have to add the stupid in there.
It's good
but
stuff.
I have to talk about it on the front end, you know, because you're not going to get George Carlin, God bless him, and he's an amazing comic. His last show to me was a little preachy. And it's hard to be a comic and be preachy. You still have to be comedic. And there are definitely several ways of getting out. Alex, and you guys talk about promoting making DVDs. You talked about today making a sign and put it on the interstate. Yeah. My way is making people stop kidding themselves and make them laugh in the process, because it is really hard to wake people up, brother.
It's difficult. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. And as soon as we realize that and we start to, accept the fact that we're not going to change people in an hour or a day, it's like you're telling jokes. Some of those things might not set in for somebody for another week, for a month, but at least you're planting the seeds. And through entertainment, that's so important, because we are such a zombified society that's all about, Comedy Central and MTV. I mean, that's what I tell people. People speak the language of films. They don't read anymore.
When I was
people
talking
don't
to you earlier
read.
about the community of North Dakota, one thing that I believe is the biggest detriment to what's happening is